Welcome to Small Arm Solutions. Today we're looking at what I refer to as buying ARs on a budget. Now, this is going to be a two-part series. I've pretty much chosen about 8 or 9 rifles that I believe are under $1,000, well under $1,000, actually under $800, that are extremely high-quality rifles. So you don't have to go out and spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to have a proper AR, one that you could use for sporting purposes, self-defense, or whatever you may need it for. Now, again, we're going to be doing this as a two-part series because, again, we're looking at a minimum of 8 rifles. I actually have, for part 2, still 1 or 2 rifles I'm waiting to come in. But we want to get going with the part 1. And some of these rifles I have more experience with than others. Some of the companies I've worked with directly, some of the ones I've had more firing experience with, so I'll certainly give you all the information of the ones I have more of extensive experience with. But if we look at the market right now, we have a major demand for MSR-type rifles. Now, whether it be because of the current political issues going on right now with potential bans, the current civil unrest, the number of rifles that are being bought is astronomical by people who normally would never buy rifles, but they're starting to see the need to be able to protect themselves in these trying times that we have. So, again, you don't have to be rich to be able to buy a good rifle. There are a lot of rifles out there that are extremely high quality at a low price that are bare bones. The rifles that we're taking a look at are ones that I have used in the past, and I feel are ones that are certainly suitable for self-defense, for target shooting. They're ones that you would be able to trust for the most part with your life. Are they the quality of a Colt or an LMT or a Knights or a Noveski? No, these are more of a basic M4. When I say basic M4, I'm referring to a bare bones U.S. government type M4, not with all the bells and whistles and the rails and the enhanced features. They're basic rifles. So I think we're going to jump right into this, and we're going to start looking at the first one, which is the Diamondback DB15 series. Now, this rifle series I have quite a bit of experience with. Up until about probably 3 years ago, I didn't really even know they existed. I received a phone call from them saying that they were looking for an armor's manual, which is one of the things that Small Arm Solutions does. We do technical writing. So, of course, certainly we'll do manuals for you. So they'd sent me, at first, every model DB15 that they had. Because, of course, doing a manual, you're going to be going through all of the different variations, the different stock assemblies, the different handguards, and whatnot. So I had an opportunity to go through, and as I was going through the rifles, I was extremely impressed with the way everything was machined. It was very, very well made. All the parts, I had found out also that Diamondback had made a lot of their parts in-house. So that was something that was very unique as well. So after the manuals were completed, I said I'm going to keep these rifles for another couple weeks. So I went out to the range, and we did test firing, and we did a video. So I think there was like 4 or 5 different rifles that we test fired. We had no issues whatsoever. The quality was excellent. The reliability was excellent. So I was extremely pleased. And then the second manual I did was on their DB10 series, which was probably 4 or 5 rifles as well. And did the same thing. We did a review on those as well. And I found that those were, for the price, they were an absolute killer deal. I did keep one of those rifles. It said the reliability, the quality, everything was really, really good with it. So that's why I chose Diamondback as one of the rifles that we're going to take a look at. Now, the Diamondback rifle here is the DB15. This is referred to as their Scout. This is their basic bones M4 type rifle. And as you can see, we have a detachable carrying handle on here. You can also have the standard backup sight. This is the Magpul backup sight. So again, it's a basic rifle. You'll see the basic handguards. Now, this comes in 2 different ways. You will see for the same price of around $550, you'll either get a standard M4 upper, or you can also get a flat-top upper receiver with a free-floating rail. This is what it actually came with. I requested this upper receiver is a basic M4 type rifle. Basically, you're looking at both the same barrel, a 16-inch barrel, a 1 1/8-inch twist barrel, 4140 chromoly vanadium steel or carbine length gas system. We're just going to go over a little bit of the basics of this one. You're looking at a standard mil-spec type stock. You're looking at a standard mil-spec type receiver extension, standard buffer. You're looking at the receivers are both forgings, upper and lower receivers, 7075 T6 aircraft grade aluminum. You're looking at type 3 hard coat anodizing mil-spec type. You're looking at an upper receiver, which is an M4 spec upper receiver with his M4 in the front, similar to the Colts. Again, flat top upper receiver. This is just the removable carrying handle I put on here. Also, you can have backup sights. Bolt carrier, nitride coated M16 type bolt carrier. Bolt's Carpenter 158. It's a magnet particle improved tested mil spec type bolt. The carrier key is A620 tool steel. It's also nitride coated. The nitride coating is very well done on the grip. It's very high quality. The barrel we're looking at is a 4140 chrome vanadium steel barrel, carbine length gas system. They've chose to go with a 1 8-inch twist. 1 8-inch twist you're seeing quite common on a lot of rifles these days. It gives you just a slightly better service life than the 1 7, and still works pretty well with any cartridge, probably from 55 grains right up through 77 grain. You do have an F-mark front sight base, bayonet lug, standard compensator, 4-position square front sight base. Now, when you look at this rifle, this is a beginning point. So you were to say your device for $550, you can upgrade this rifle at any point to any stock assembly, any pistol grip, any trigger, any handguard. This is their basic, grown man's Lego set. Once you have your basic rifle, you can do anything you want with it. And taking a look at the other upper receiver that it comes with here, again, we have a free-floating barrel. We have same 1 8-inch twist barrel, 16-inch carbine length gas system, same bolt carrier, same upper receiver. But you have a system here that you can do anything with, reliable, accurate, and we're going to take this to the range and we're going to see how it shoots. Now, this was no different than the ones that we had a couple years ago when we did the armor's manuals. Reliability was 100%. We're not really going to bother doing any accuracy with shooting with these because they're all basically iron sights, and this is all basically just function testing. Ammunition we used was the standard Black Hills 22355 grain full metal jacket. Now, a lot of these rifles you will see are overgassed. Well, these are commercial rifles, and they have to be due to the fact that a lot of you guys like to use wolf ammo. And wolf ammunition, you have issues with low port pressures. So in order for these to cycle with these lower quality types of ammunitions that don't meet SAMI spec, CIP, or NATO spec, you have to open up the gas ports. So therefore, when you do use proper ammunition, they tend to be overgassed. So you will tend to see that these are a little bit on the overgas side. The next one we're going to take a look at is the Smith & Wesson M&P Sport 2. Now, Smith & Wesson got into the AR-15 game a little late. It was another one of those, you can't beat them, join them. They were not having the success that they wanted with their M&P pistol line. They were trying to get back into law enforcement sales because, obviously, after the revolvers ceased to exist in law enforcement and the semi-automatic pistols came on, Smith & Wesson had a very, very small share of that market. So when they brought on the M&P line, they said they were going to bring on the rifle line as well. So the rifle we see here is, again, a very basic rifle. We have a standard stock assembly. We have a standard pistol grip. We have 7075 T6 aircraft-grade aluminum upper and lower receivers. You'll see this particular one, the Smith & Wesson, they have an integrated trigger guard into their lower receiver forging. We have a standard upper receiver, flat-top upper receiver, M4 marked. Standard nitride bolt carrier group. Now we have a 16-inch barrel on here. This is more of a heavy profile, 4140 chrome vanadium. They've, again, gone with the nitride. Nitride is something that we're going to be seeing coming up a lot with these because a lot of these lower cost rifles do use the nitride finish. It is definitely less expensive than standard manganese phosphate and chrome plating. Whether it's as good or not, that's still yet to be seen. I've yet to see any legitimate comparison tests that were done by second and third parties that do a comparison between the two to see which one is superior. For as far as the military is concerned, they're still staying with their hard chrome plating with a manganese phosphate finish. Single heat shield handguards. We have a standard F-mark front sight base, and we have a barrel, and we have a bolt carrier, which is referred to as armor night finish, which again is a type of a black nitride. And we'll see we have the standard A2 compensator on here. Now, I had done some review on one of these probably about 2 or 3 years ago. We had put probably 300-400 rounds through it. There was no malfunctions whatsoever. Smith & Wesson has had a rocky start. When they had first come out, they had a lot of issues. In fact, I can remember one of the police departments we dealt with in New York when I was still working there. They had bought a whole bunch of M&P pistols, and Smith & Wesson basically gave away the M&P rifles to them. And I ended up getting a phone call about rifles that had severe failures to extract and so on and so forth, and took a look at them. I'd seen a lot of different issues between rough chambers, out of spec extractors, and so on and so forth. But they supposedly have gone and corrected a lot of these issues. The rifles have become very, very popular and very, very reliable. The two that I've shot were very reliable. This one here we didn't shoot. This one was on loan from Brandon at the gun room. This is one of his rifles he had in stock for sale, so I promised him I wouldn't shoot it. But I wanted to be able to show the Smith & Wesson series because it is quite popular. They're still quite in demand. They still manufacture them. They also do a 308 version as well, which the 308 version I was very pleased with. I did have an opportunity to review one of those, and I actually looked like to do another review on that if I can get my hands on one. I don't know if they still offer them on their catalog or not anymore. I haven't seen them for quite some time. But the Smith & Wesson is certainly a good rifle. It's certainly reasonably priced. The MSRP is around $689, and this, like the previous rifle I showed you, is one that you can put any handguards. You can do any kind of upgrade that you want to it. All these rifles are going to have the basic mil-spec type trigger. There's no bells and whistles. The next one we're going to look at is the American Tactical Omni Hybrid Max. Now, this is a rifle we've done a couple different videos on. This is a rifle that I have a vast amount of experience with. This company came out of my hometown of Rochester, New York. It was originally American Tactical. It was owned by the same people who own Amchar Wholesale. And when they got into the original business, they had contacted me with some assistance because they had a lot of problems in the beginning with their original polymer receiver. And their original polymer receiver was very different from what you see today. So over the intervening years, I had worked with them a lot on updating this rifle. This is a company who has continued to update the rifles. They have answered any customer issues that they've had. They've continued to improve. And what we see here is the current production Omni Max hybrid system that is extremely well-made rifle, extremely inexpensive, but it's something that you can certainly count on if you need to. We're going to talk about what makes this rifle different from any of the other rifles that we're looking at, and that's going to be the use of polymer upper and lower receivers. So we have a polymer upper and a polymer lower. Now, taking a look at the polymer lower receiver, you'll see that we have an addition here of an insert in the rear. This enables them to be able to torque in the receiver extension to a proper torque, where before, when they were trying to do it with their original ones, the stocks were very much known to snap. Now, this lower receiver, we've done a lot of testing on, and quite frankly, I personally have done a lot of testing on. I have one that I use as a slave lower receiver. Lower receiver's probably seen, I'd say, at least 10,000, 15,000 rounds. I have seen no difference in reliability in the polymer lower receiver versus the aluminum one on the ones that we've tested. This is a very durable polymer material. It's very thick, as you can see in here too, so it's not going to go anywhere. There's also a patented hammer trigger pin assembly on here where you have screws that go on the inside here, which prevents them from walking out. It's on both sides. You have a flared magazine well. This is a standard mil-spec trigger. Now, something else that ATI does offer is a polymer lower receiver trigger assembly. And it's very, polymer is not unusual in triggers. You see them in the Steyr AUGs and some other guns as well. The Beretta ARX100, they use them. But you will see some polymer parts as well that they've used successfully as well. The lower receiver, there is nothing that we can say that's less reliable than the aluminum receiver. We have not seen that whatsoever. It's very, very well made. This, like anything else, you can do whatever you want with it. You can add any pistol grip to it, any trigger mechanism, any stock. The lower receiver has nothing to do. It's all utilizing standard components. Now, looking at the upper receiver, you'll see we have a metal insert in the front. This metal insert obviously is what you screw the barrel into. And we have the polymer upper receiver. We also have a metal insert in the rear. Now, we have done a lot of testing on these. These have gone through several different generations, different materials to get to where we are right now. And the reliability we have found with the current ones is incredible. We've had no issues. We have black nitride bolt carrier groups on here, properly staked, MPI tested bolts. These come with a various numbers of different kinds of handguards. This happens to be one of their 9-inch M-lock or Keymod handguards. They have M-lock. They have standard double heat shield. They have ones with standard gas blocks, low profile gas blocks. Barrel on here, 4140 chromoly vanadium, which is also nitride. They've chosen to go with a 1 8-inch twist as well, M4 type barrel. Now, here's another area where this company stands out. The gas blocks are drilled and pinned. This is one of the things that I had recommended to them in the beginning, because the first rifles they had coming back, whenever the rifle would come back, it would be the same issue because of gas loss. They were using the original ones that were clamped on or held on with set screws, and as they would fire, they would move forward and they would cut gas off. So probably 95% of the guns that came back to American Tactical for repair were because of gas cutoff. So when I went there, I had said, well, if you were to drill and pin this, you would never have that problem again. And since they started doing this a few years ago, they have no guns coming in for that any longer. The problem has gone away. And this is something that you see on very few guns of any quality. Many manufacturers are putting in typical set screw or clamp-on type gas systems, which are not as reliable. If you want a gun to be military grade and reliable, this is a must. This ensures that gas block will never move and will never shut off your gas under any circumstances. Where the other ones, even though they do some the dimpling and you can put this set screw pins in further, so it supposedly won't ride forward. This is the proper way to do it, and this is one of the things that really sets this rifle aside. So over the years, I've done a lot of rounds through these things. We're probably looking at maybe 40,000, 50,000 rounds over the last probably 5-6 years doing reliability testing and third-party testing for American Tactical. And the current rifle that we have today is an excellent rifle for under $500. Is this rifle that you would want to put in for a military service rifle? No, this is a commercial rifle. This is a recreational type rifle, and it could even have potential as a patrol carbine. The current version that we have today with the drill and pin gas block with the upgraded upper receivers is an excellent rifle. And those of you who've said in the past you've had problems with your rifles, there's a lifetime warranty on these. So if you have any problems with these whatsoever, you get them back to American Tactical and they will take care of it. Another thing needs to mention on here too is American Tactical uses these Amend 2 magazines. In their testing, they found these to be probably some of the best magazines that they tested. So they have their own branding put on them as well. The next one we're going to talk about, the last one in part 1, is going to be Aero Precision. Now, this is a company that I have an extremely heavy amount of experience with. I have been working with these guys for years. Now, many of you don't know that Aero Precision has a lot of OEM contracts. They make a lot of receivers and whatnot for the high-end OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. So the quality that you're seeing on these is by no means any second or third rate company. You're looking at top rate right here. You're looking at the ones who make them for the major manufacturers. Now, they started off as just a machine shop manufacturing upper and lower receivers and eventually got into manufacturing for OEMs. In fact, in the early days with Armalite, Aero Precision made all of Armalite's AR-10 and M15 upper and lower receivers. And they also had worked on one of the first semi-monolithic receivers, the original SPR rifle that Armalite had, that had a one-piece upper receiver with a lower part of the handguard, which was manufactured of several components, different, M-lock. They had key mod, they had 1913 railsing, whatever you wanted to do with it. So they had gone on to start manufacturing their own components and their own complete rifles. And I had been using their components for well over 7, 8, 9 years, and they've gone on to be a major player in the industry, and that's because of the extreme quality that they offer. Now, this here is a rifle that they manufacture as a complete rifle for sale. These can be got with either, you see mill furniture on here, you can see regular mil-spec type round heat shield handguards with standard mil-spec type handguards and pistol grip. This particular one here is a Mo. And another thing that's sort of unique about this one here too is they offer both carbine and mid-length gas systems. This happens to be a mid-length because, as you guys know who follow my channel, I am a firm believer in the reliability enhancements of the mid-length gas system, which was also a Mark Westrom design. So over the years, between receivers, I have multiple rifles that have upper and lower receivers that are manufactured by Aero Precision. Barrels, I have several as well. We're talking several thousands of rounds over the years. That I have never had a bad part come out of Aero Precision. Not a bad bolt, not a bad nothing. This is a company that I strongly recommend over the years. So just giving a quick overview of this one, we have a CTR stock. We have a mil-spec receiver extension. Comes with a standard buffer. Upper and lower receivers are forgings, 7075 T6 aircraft grade aluminum. Standard trigger group, standard bolt catch, standard magazine release, standard safety. They manufacture their own bolt carriers as well, Carpenter 158 steel, MPI tested. All these parts can be bought for you to upgrade or to build your own rifles. Every part you see on here can be bought that way. Barrel 4150 chrome moly vanadium steel. And again, these guys like to do the nitriding. You have an F-Mark front sight base on here. Again, mid-length gas system. This happens to be the Mo handguard, the standard A2 type compensator. And Aero Precision goes with a 1 7-inch twist. So we have a basic rifle here. It is as reliable as can be. This did come with the Magpul Mo rear sight. $740 MSRP. And what you're getting here is worth every penny. And this is definitely a rifle that I would say you would be able to trust your life with. We're going to take this from the range and we're going to put a few rounds through it. Like we would expect, no issues whatsoever. The reliability has always been there. And in fact, this one here, you can see if you watch the ejection pattern, this is perfectly gassed. You're looking at an ejection pattern around 4 or 5 o'clock. Very well made, accurate rifle. You can do anything that you want with it. So these are the first rifles that we're taking a look at in part 1. Part 2, we're going to have some other ones. So we still have a couple more that we're waiting for. But you do not have to spend $1,000 or more to get a good rifle. For any of you guys who are looking to get rifles for self-defense in these trying times that we have, you have a lot of options that are under $800. Some of them are under $600. Ones that you can use for self-defense or for whatever it is that you may need. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share. Thank you.